you should already have come across one equation that can be used to work out velocity, which is velocity is equal to the displacement divided by time. Now that works out either an average or a constant velocity if we know the total displacement and the time taken for a journey. But we do have another equation that will work out an average velocity. Now sometimes we would write this as average velocity. Sometimes you might see a V with a subscript average below it, or sometimes you might see V with a bar above it. They all mean the same thing. They just mean an average velocity. And this is just taking the average of two numbers. Okay, so U is the velocity at the very start, V is the velocity at the end, and we just add them together and divide by 2. Now this only works for certain portions of journey where there is a constant acceleration. So for instance, if an object accelerates, then travels at a constant velocity and then slows down, we can't use the velocity at the very start of that journey at the very end because there's been lots of different accelerations there. So we can only really use this under a constant acceleration. So let's look at one example where, say, an object, let's say a car, is traveling at the start of a portion of time when we look at it at, let's make it 10 meters per second, and that undergoes a constant acceleration. And a short time later, we look at it, and at the end of that time, it's traveling at 40 meters per second. Okay. For any further calculations we do, we can't use 10 meters per second as being the velocity because it was only doing that at the start. We can't use 40 meters per second for the velocity because it was only doing that at the end. So what we have to do is work out an average of those two velocities. So we would just add the two of them together and divide by 2, which gives us 50, divided by 2, which is 25 meters per second. Okay, and that would be our average velocity for that entire journey.